The main focus of today's video, though, is the Covid-19 strain and the coronavirus and the effect that it's going to have on the world of mortgage valuations. So my kind of predictions as to what's going to happen now, what's going to happen in the next few days, what's going to happen a few weeks, months, however long after that. So a relatively short video today just to speak to you about that very, very particular subject, because I am getting a lot of questions about it. Now, the Covid-19 is having a big effect on people's ability to go about doing their jobs, as we all know. People are having to work from home because they're self-isolating. And in reality, when we look at the mortgage process from start to finish, really the only part of that process where a physical human being needs to go and be in a certain place is during the valuation part of the process. The surveyor needs to go to the property that is being bought and needs to physically walk around, take photos, measurements, and look at this property so that they can conduct their report. So the very, very obvious problem that we have is that, as with any job, a lot of these surveyors are going to be self-isolating, are going to not be able to go and view these properties. And I think that's going to have, although I'm not necessarily right this very second seeing any effects, I think over the next few days and weeks we are actually going to see the fewer, there's going to be, basically surveyors are going to be a bit thin on the ground. And I was talking to a client earlier on today, and I likened this a little bit to the sort of the summer months, July, August, where traditionally every year that is the time of the year where surveyors are a little bit thinner on the ground. They tend to go on holiday, and they tend to, time frames just tend to be a bit longer than they normally would to get surveyors to firstly be instructed, then be booked in, and then actually go out and do the valuations physically and get the reports back. So each part of that stage tends to just take a little bit longer than it does for the rest of the year. And what I've been saying to clients is that the same thing I think is going to be happening now. As with anyone, surveyors are going to be self-isolating just as anyone else would in any other job. I'm not saying all of them are, and obviously my thoughts go out to surveyors, as they do with everyone who is going to be affected by this, potentially financially as well, through not having as much work. So number one, in terms of the potential problems that there are going to be, is simply that there are going to be fewer surveyors available. So instead of an evaluation being instructed and then 2 days later it's been booked in and ready to go, and a day later the surveyor goes round to the property, and 2 or 3 days later we get the report back. Each one of those individual stages, I think, is going to be lengthened. So we're going to have, I think it's going to take longer for bookings to actually take place, because they physically need, the bookings are going to be taken up. The slots for these valuations are going to be taken up further in advance than they would normally, because there are fewer availability for surveyors. So instead of it being, say, from instruction to when a booking actually takes place being 2 or 3 days, it might be a week. And then, of course, when they actually go round, because they've got fewer support people, fewer surveyors actually out there, it might take a little bit longer as well for the reports to actually get back to the underwriters and get signed off. So I think that particular part of the transaction is just going to start taking a little bit longer until we actually go into lockdown. I do think there's always going to be some surveyors on the ground, so I don't think it's going to halt everything 100% completely, but I think what it is going to do is slow things down dramatically, and that's obviously going to cause wider issues for the rest of the process of actually purchasing a property when using a mortgage. Now, something else that I've been thinking of, that others, when I'm having conversations with clients, things like that, which is potentially prevalent as well, is that people might not actually want outside people. So let me put that in a different way. The sellers, the vendors, if they're in that property or they're still living in that property, might not actually want outside people coming to visit them. So say, for example, you're buying from an elderly person or someone that's vulnerable. They might not actually want someone coming to visit the property. And this is where things get a little bit trickier, because ultimately that could actually put a halt to the entire process. I've not come across this yet, but I know I live in a block of flats, and there are elderly people that live in this block. And my wife and I have already, gone and knocked on the door and asked them if they want to go out, if they need anything from the shops, if we go out, that kind of thing, because we know that they're very, very worried about other people even coming into the flats, and sort of potentially bringing the coronavirus with them. And so, taking that one step further, it's highly likely that at some point, these people are not really going to be wanting surveyors that they've never met before, that have potentially been to like 5 or 6 other houses or flats or whatever that day as well, being carriers and take and bringing this sort of virus around to them. So that again could be something that makes a huge difference. So I think those two things coupled together are just one impact that that we're going to see on the market, the property market, in the next few weeks and months, as things just generally just really slow down. So what I would say to you is, if you are you're in property, you're going through purchases at the moment, you're looking at time frames to complete, just be a little bit more flexible with those time frames. You need to think that instead of the standard turnaround time of buying a property being maybe 6 to 10 weeks, it could actually end up being double that, because of not only the valuations but other things which I might well go onto on future videos, that are going to cause the whole process to just become a lot longer. But I just wanted to jump on quickly to speak to you today just about valuations, basically. So if you've got any questions about this, please do get in contact with me. If you're watching this as on Facebook, then please do comment below, and I'm happy to have a direct message conversation with you, or even a phone call at some stage. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, please subscribe, of course, but also please do put a comment below if you've got any questions. Otherwise, you can find me on Instagram at the Sam Norris. You can find me on Twitter at the Sam Norris, even TikTok at the Sam Norris, and also you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Sam-Norris, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Sam Norris Property. So no excuses to not be able to find me, you guys. So yeah, any questions on that, please let me know. I am going to try and do as many live videos as I possibly can to go through as much of these issues, as I know that they're burning important questions at the moment. So as I said, please send me any ideas on what you want to discuss or what you want me to discuss, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. I'm going to also try and organise as many Q&As with various people, so that I can keep you all updated with what's going on in the market in these strange, unprecedented times. But for now, I'm going to leave you to it. Thanks very much for your time, and I will look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Keep safe, sneeze into your armpit, and don't use too much loo roll. Speak to you later.